Good evening, and welcome to your AI Daily Press evening podcast for June 18th, 2026. I'm your host, Walter. Firstly, Iran and the U.S. have agreed to a tentative deal, codifying ceasefires in Iran and Lebanon and reopening the strategic Strait of Hormuz for 180 days. The agreement has been hailed as a significant breakthrough by some, but others remain skeptical about its long-term prospects. In related news, we took an in-depth look at the implications of this deal, warning that it may not be as durable as initially thought. Critics argue that the agreement consolidates Iran's wartime position rather than weakening it, and that the country is likely to use the time it has bought to build its economic and diplomatic leverage. Finally, we focused on the Federal Reserve and its new chairman, Kevin Warsh, who is leading his first meeting with the rate-setting Federal Open Market Committee. Market participants are eager to learn more about Warsh's proposed regime change at the central bank, which may include rolling back some of the Fed's forward guidance and reducing its balance sheet. Good night. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Firstly, the United States has announced a reduction in its military capabilities in Europe, sparking concerns about regional stability and the ability of NATO to respond to emerging threats. The move has been seen as a shift towards a more multipolar world, but it also raises questions about the impact on transatlantic relations and the security landscape. In other news, the Israeli government has severed all contact with EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas over allegedly comparing Israel's treatment of Palestinians to apartheid-era South Africa. The move has heightened tensions between Israel and the EU, which have been at odds over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Lastly, the European Parliament has passed a contentious migration law aimed at increasing deportations across the EU, despite widespread criticism from rights groups. The law allows for people to be detained for up to 2 years or sent to offshore centers, sparking concerns about human rights and dignity. These stories highlight the complex and often divisive nature of international relations and global politics. As we continue to follow these developments, we urge all parties involved to engage in constructive dialogue and work towards peaceful resolutions. Now, for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. In our recent podcasts, we've covered several key stories that are shaping the world of finance. Firstly, we discussed Coinbase's exciting announcement about its foray into cryptocurrency and tokenized stocks. This development marks a significant step forward in the evolution of digital assets and is likely to have far-reaching implications for investors and the broader financial landscape. As always, we urge our listeners to approach this space with a healthy dose of skepticism and to stay informed about the latest developments. We also explored billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban's thought-provoking perspective on wealth inequality. Cuban argued that the wealth of billionaires like Elon Musk is not solely due to their successful companies, but also because millions of Americans invest in the stock market through various means, including retirement plans and brokerage accounts. This nuanced view highlights the interconnectedness of billionaire wealth and everyday investors, and we'll continue to monitor this story as it unfolds. Finally, we analyzed the U.S. Federal Reserve's latest policy meeting, which saw a hawkish tone catch many investors off guard. With bond yields rising sharply and policymakers signaling their intention to keep interest rates higher for longer, investors are bracing themselves for a more cautious approach to monetary policy. We'll be keeping a close eye on inflation and labor market data in the coming months to gauge whether policymakers can eventually pivot towards easing in 2024. Remember to stay informed, stay ahead, and always keep your wits about you in these uncertain times. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, we've been exploring the mysteries of dark matter and the search for answers with scientists who are pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the universe. Secondly, a new mission to Mars is on the horizon, with NASA partnering with private company Relativity Space to launch the Aeolus mission, which will provide unprecedented insights into the Martian atmosphere, helping us better understand our celestial companion and paving the way for future missions. Lastly, astronomers have made a remarkable discovery, shedding new light on the mysterious lives of stars. Using data from NASA's Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope, scientists have identified two supernova remnants interacting with each other in a complex and intriguing way, offering a unique opportunity to study the evolution of massive binary systems. These stories remind us of the awe-inspiring complexity of the universe and the many mysteries that still await us. As we continue to explore the cosmos, we're reminded of the infinite wonders that await us and the boundless potential for discovery that lies ahead. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, we highlighted the remarkable story of Tyler Adams, the New York-born midfielder who led his team to victory in the World Cup, drawing record-breaking numbers in viewership. However, our articles actually focused on the New York Knicks' first NBA title since the Michael Jordan era, the Carolina Hurricanes' win in the Stanley Cup Final, and the unprecedented surge in viewership resulting from the convergence of these events with the World Cup. In our second story, we shone a spotlight on the PWHL's newest expansion franchise, San Jose, and their impressive draft performance. The team's selection of Layla Edwards at 4th overall has been hailed as a coup, given her potential to influence not just the game, but also the culture and standards of the team. Lastly, our third article delved into the extraordinary viewership numbers generated by the combination of the Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals, and World Cup. With over 40 million viewers tuning in, this trio of events has surpassed any previous year's numbers since 1994, underscoring the enduring appeal of live sports in an era dominated by streaming services. These stories showcase the power of sports to unite and captivate audiences across different demographics and platforms. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we looked at a fascinating discovery about the ancient past of football, or soccer, and its impact on the World Cup competition. We traveled across the globe, exploring how sports, politics, and climate change intersect, from England's great start in the tournament to the heat wave affecting farmers in France. Secondly, we delved into the world of politics, where Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party, was cleared by the Greater London Authority following a complaint over his failure to pay council tax on a houseboat in Hackney. We examined the complexities involved and the broader implications of the story, emphasizing the importance of transparency, accountability, and fairness in public life. Lastly, we touched upon a story that took us through time, exploring recent discoveries and their significance in understanding our world. From the excitement of sports competitions to the pressing concerns of climate change, we reflected on what truly matters, our shared humanity and the planet we call home. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Joan, your go-to girl for all things entertainment and news. First up, love is in the air for music power couple Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton. Their whirlwind romance has been making headlines, and we've got the inside scoop on how they found each other during a time of need. It's a love story for the ages, folks. And then, there's the juicy gossip about celebrity couples like Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton, as well as Michelle Williams and Thomas Kail. We've also been following the heartwarming love story of music power couple Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton. But that's not all, darling. The Big Apple is abuzz with excitement after the New York Knicks' historic win in the NBA championships. We're talking confetti-filled streets, cheering crowds, and a palpable sense of pride among the city's residents. It's a momentous occasion, and we've got all the details on the celebrations and what's next for the team. And finally, we're giving you an update on the latest celebrity news, including Michelle Williams' pregnancy and the newest addition to her family. Stay fabulous, keep it real, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates from the world of entertainment and beyond. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Atanacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, In a surprising turn of events, researchers have discovered that translocated greater one-horned rhinos in Nepal's Bardia National Park are struggling to adapt to their new habitat, leading to increased human-wildlife conflict. The study suggests that habitat degradation and lack of suitable habitats may be contributing to the rhino's struggles, emphasizing the need for more research and coordinated efforts between conservationists and government officials. Secondly, we take you to French Polynesia, where the government has made a monumental decision to protect 30% of its waters by establishing an expansive marine protected area. This move is not only a victory for conservation but also a beacon of hope for the future of our planet's oceans, providing a haven for an incredible array of species and supporting local communities through sustainable fishing practices. Lastly, in a bizarre twist, researchers have found that invasive Burmese pythons in the Everglades are being hunted by wait, no! Actually, we looked at how invasive species can affect native ecosystems, but tonight we focus on the impact of invasive species on the ecosystem and the importance of conservation efforts to protect native species. These stories remind us that conservation is a complex and ongoing process that requires careful planning, research, and collaboration between governments, conservationists, and local communities. As we continue to explore, learn, and work together towards a future where humanity and nature thrive in harmony, we must acknowledge the challenges and successes that shape our understanding of the natural world. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.